The law of attraction, it's something that people have talked about for many decades now. We're going to bring in an essential oil twist today, and we're going to talk about neroli because Liz has found that they work really well together. Liz, how so?
Oh, so I'm going to reverse engineer it first of all and tell you a little story that the first the first time I had a swarm come into the garden, I was like, did I really make that happen? Did I really call in a swarm? And it turned up, I'd never really been back to bee swarms at all. And I'd been focusing my intention and I want my own swarm. I want my bees to choose me and come in. And they did. And so I was like, I don't know what to make of this, really. And so I decided, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll get my Tongue of the Trees cards out and I'll deal them and I'll take a card. Did I really call this in? And the one a card that came out was Neroli, which is manifestation. And I was like, well, you can't get a stronger argument than that. And so I thought, right, well, I'm going to sort of take that piece of knowledge and use it as a way to kind of project, right, when I'm trying to decide what I want to do, what I am going to do, what is happening, I'm going to train my brain with Neroli to dream the dream to co-author the dream with the universe, if that makes sense. So law of attraction says that you draw things to you. Melissa Work says things slightly different. It says that you dream the dream with the earth, which is slightly different, but it ends up being the same thing. That if you tell the earth what you want and you are listening to the earth about what it needs, the two of you should be able to come to a place where the dreams marry up. And I find that that's amazing. First of all, for when I'm actually physically dreaming, my neroli dreams are very strong and powerful and I'm going to say well sketched. I don't know why I said it like that, but like as if you can really make clear images, because I don't dream like that. So they're very, very strong in my head. And so to be able to write those down in the morning and say, this is what's going to happen, and to look at that and go, right, well, am I happy with that? Where does that fit with that alignment? What problems can I perceive within that? What do I need to address? What inspiration can I draw from that? And then to move forward from that neroli point of view. So this idea of dreaming the dream with the earth is like a very mystical feeling of like I'm watching like the lotus flower petals unfurl, if you like, that the earth is dreaming me and I am dreaming the earth, which is very different to like, oh, this is what I want to happen. But to me, this is wholly more fulfilling. And it took me a long time to find an oil that made me think, right, this is what's happening. For a long time, I thought it might be Melissa, but no, Melissa definitely goes, come on, I'm moving you to here. But Neroli goes, we are dreaming this together. How do you feel about where we're going? And so it gives you an opportunity to adjust, refocus, and replace your intention as to put things where you want to be. I love Neroli for that kind of dreaming work of what I am dreaming of and what I will dream into being.
Beautiful. I love that description, especially that description of planning your day in the morning. Now, I'm going to ask you to be a little bit more practical in a way because I find, someone may have tuned into this. They're like, I want to attract something. You reckon neroli is the thing I need to use. What would you suggest that they need to do?
Well, of course, there's lots of magical practices that I'm not going to put on here. That's what gets taught behind the paywall. But I would say that the easiest thing to do is just to remember the science, to put a little bit of oil on your hands, dilute it if you like, or inhale it from the bottle. All the purists would say don't inhale it from the bottle. I say absolutely inhale it from the bottle. And just use that time, 10 minutes. It's about the same time as you would do for a meditation, and allow the chemical constituents to work on the parts of your brain that are using this imagination, that are focusing intent, that are actually creating thought forms ready for dreaming. So we can do all sorts of things like creating sigils or making neroli candles or many different ways like that. But inhalation, sitting for 10 minutes, inhaling, consciously thinking, engineering your next 3 months, if you like, you know, carefully dissecting and saying, well, these are the plans I have in place. Don't go ahead without doing the maths of saying, right, okay, if I was to, so for me, I would go, I've just done actually, shame I can't show you because I'll scribble it out, but I've gone, right, I've got these particular courses that I am running. I've got these particular courses that people are going to partner with on. And so this is the amount of money I'm going to get off each one. And if I can fill 12 seats in each one, that's the maths that I will have. So therefore, projecting myself into December and saying, in December, I'm going to count my £15,000. And that is, you know, thinking about, well, what does £15,000? It's not actually £15,000, I will tell you that much. But if it were, what would that £15,000 look like when it comes to Christmas? What would it look like on the Christmas table? What will it feel like when we're going out for a drink? What can I wear? You know, what does that concrete amount of money that you have engineered in bits and pieces do the work? Don't just pick up the oil and think that's going to get it. It's not. You've got to actually do the physical, mental work, and then you create the dream. You dream the dream into being, and you co-create with the earth. What will Christmas look like for me when I have that? Because I've already got it. I've just got to wait for it to come in, you know?
I'd love to introduce the idea of what I call an aromatic anchor. And we can all relate to the idea of where we have, we've smelt something and it brings back a memory. It may remind you, you might smell lavender when you think of your grandmother's house, or a certain food that reminds you something your mother used to make, or a cologne that an ex used to wear. Because our brain associates smells with that emotion. So when we're doing this kind of creative work and wanting to attract something, inhaling something like neroli kind of makes a relationship between here's what I want to manifest or attract, and here's a smell. So then what we can do is when we want to bring that feeling back, we just go back to that smell of neroli, whether that be we wear it throughout the day and we get little wafts and reminders, which brings us back to that vibration. I've used essential oils and aromatic anchors really powerfully when it comes to finding a partner. I find that I would, do the visualization, listen to a certain song, feel the emotion, but bring a scent in and then wear that scent. And it kept me in the right vibration, the same vibration as I'd been in when I'm in my bedroom by myself thinking about what that would be like. And so I think using it as an aromatic anchor and maybe whatever you want to manifest, neroli is a great one. Go, right, neroli, and my brain now associates that with the success of the law of attraction in that way. And whether you use it consciously and then have it around you, so that your body's just subconsciously and occasionally getting a little tap on the face going, don't forget what you're manifesting, stay in that vibration. So I think neroli could be really powerful used in that way.
Yeah, I think it's important to always remember that reality is subjective, that things are happening to us, around us, but the way that we apprehend them is entirely at our control. So for people who are struggling with, we'll do a video specifically on anxiety, for example. Anxiety is a subjective experience. Imposter syndrome is a subjective experience. The feeling that the universe is kicking you in the ass is a subjective experience. Although yesterday it definitely wasn't. It was definitely kicking me in the ass. But but we can change those narratives by playing tricks on our brain. And, there are so many skills that essential oils have in terms of like dealing with aches and pains and stuff. But I think that the thing that is most important to understand in 2026 is that you can change your reality based on your apprehension of it by changing the chemistry of your brain, simply by influencing it by chemical constituents. And so this idea that no good things happen to me, I can't do this, they're always going to be better at it than me. These are things that are happening in your brain that you can switch off. You can do that with essential oils.
Exactly. Whether you believe it will happen or it won't happen, you're correct. And if you'd like a bit more information on Neroli, and especially how you can use Neroli when you're feeling a little bit stuck and need some inspiration, make sure you check out our next video because we're going to show you how to use it in that way as well. We'll talk to you really soon about more magic from Neroli. Until then, take care and blessed be.
Bye-bye.